divide with variables. Exponents are just repeated multiplication. Therefore, you may want to expand the exponents by writing them out. So let's go over this in example 1. Solve and reduce. So, like dividing with fractions just with numbers, we can do the same, where we take the first number, then we can multiply and take the reciprocal of the second one. So the top would now be a 10, so our numerator is a 10, and our denominator is r squared. Now, when you say repeated multiplication, really what this means is we have 4r over 5 times, and then let's break down 10. We have 2 times 5 over r times r. Now, before we go ahead and multiply, we can cancel out this 5 and this 5. We can cancel out this r and this r. This is because r over r is just 1, 5 over 5 is just 1. So we're just removing it, so we're reducing before we even get to our final solution. So now we can go ahead and multiply the top numbers, then we'll multiply our bottom numbers. This should be a 1. Okay, so we have 4 times 2, which is 8. And then on the bottom, as the r is crossed out, 1 times r. So we just have r. So we have 8 over r as our solution. Now let's look at another example. Solve and reduce. So let's go ahead and set this up. So we have 28 RT over 4 times, we really have 10 over 16 t squared over r to the third. Now we're going to write out these if we want. And so what we do, we can go 28 RT over 4 times 10 over 16 t r. Now let's go ahead and cancel things out. We have this r and this r. We can cancel those out. This t and this t. Now we have some numbers that we can reduce. So we see that we can reduce a whole 2 from here. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. But we can still further reduce. So we see a 2 here and a 28 here. We can reduce just the top and the bottom here. So this 28 divided by 2 is 14. This 2 becomes a 1. So then we're left with a 14 and a 16. We can reduce these further. So this can become 7. This can become 8. As we take a whole factor of 2 out. And so we divide by 2 on the top and the bottom. So this is how you can kind of do it. And then we can go ahead and multiply. So we have a 7 times 5. And then on the bottom we have 1 times 8 times t times, and then 2 r's. So we have 5 times 7, which is 35. 1 times 8 is 8. Then we have 1t. And then we have 2r. So we have r squared. So this would be our solution for this problem. Now let's go look at another problem. Example 3. Solve and reduce. 3z over 4xy divided by 6x to the 5th z squared over 11y. So how we can write this out is we're going to take the reciprocal and then we're going to multiply. So we take 3z over 4xy times, now on the top we have 11y over 6, and then let's just write out all our x's. So we have 5 x's and then 2 z's. Now let's go ahead and cancel things out. from the top and the bottom. So we have a z here, and we have a z here. We have a y here and a y here, so we can cross those out. Now, let's look at our numbers. So we have a 6 here and a 3 here. So both have factors of 3. So we can remove this, and this becomes a 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now we have no more numbers or variables to cancel out. So we can go ahead and multiply this 1 times 11. And then on the bottom we have 4x times 2, these 4x's and this z. These 5x's, I mean. So 1 times 11 is 11. Then on the bottom we have 4 times 2, which is 8. Then we have this x, and then we have 5 x's here. So we have 6 x's. So we'll just write x to the 6. And then we have 1 z. So this would be our final solution.